Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be making honey buttered cornbread. Now I don't know what season you're watching this, but this was recorded during the holidays and honey buttered cornbread is the perfect side dish. So let's get straight into the video. So we're kickstarting this recipe with 1 1/4 cup of cornmeal and also 1 1/4 cup of flour. If you're trying to be healthier, you can go ahead and use wheat flour, but for this recipe, I always stick to white flour because I do prefer the texture. Following your cornmeal and flour, you're gonna add a 1/2 cup of brown sugar and a 1/2 tablespoon of baking powder. Next, we're going to follow up with a pinch of salt and 1 packet of coconut milk powder. Now, there's no specific brand that you have to use. I don't recommend coconut milk in the can because you'd be adding a more liquid factor than what you already have. So go ahead and stick with the coconut powder. After that, I'm going to be incorporating everything together before I add my wet ingredients. It's just something that I always do. I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but you can do it too. Okay guys, now it's time for our wet ingredients. So I have 1 whole egg beaten, and then I'm gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla essence. This is gonna give your cornbread a little bit of flavor. And then after that, you're gonna go in with a cup of whole milk. Now I used evaporated milk. You can use condensed milk, evaporated milk, whatever milk you really prefer. It's up to you. I personally don't think it affected the texture of the cornbread, but I definitely always go in with evaporated milk. That's just my thing. Now we're gonna make our cornbread a little bit sweeter by adding 2 tablespoons of honey. If you want to make regular cornbread, you can go ahead and skip this part, but since this is a honey buttered cornbread, you definitely have to throw some honey in there. So for this step, you're going to whisk it as best as you can, simply because the honey will always be a little bit thick. If you have a cake mixer, you can go ahead and use it for this step. I don't, so I'm using my whisk and I'm gonna go in as hard as possible. By the way, guys, we're almost at 300 subscribers. I think by the time this video is posted, we'll definitely be there. So go ahead and click the subscribe button if you like my recipes. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers next year, so go ahead and join the family. Here you see me just incorporating my wet ingredients with my dry ingredients, and we're just gonna mix them together. And like I said, I don't have a cake mixer, but if you do, go ahead and use it for this step. Also, let me know if you use this recipe for the Christmas holidays or whatever family gathering you're using. I always love to see when you guys comment that you're using it or that you loved it. Don't forget to give this video a like as well because it really does help the channel. And if you're loving the recipes, let me know what else you'd like to see me cook for 2022. I have quite a few tricks up my sleeve next year that you're probably not expecting, so stay tuned for those. So next, I'm adding 1/2 cup of Glaze margarine, melted of course. You can use any margarine that you like or any butter, but I particularly always like baking with the Glaze margarine. So if it is that you're in Jamaica or you have access to a Jamaican store, you can definitely use that one. Okay guys, so now it's time for the fun part. I don't know about you, but when I was a child, I always looked forward to my mom baking because I got to grease the tin, and more importantly, I got to lick the spoon afterwards. But there's nobody licking the spoon here, it's just me. So I'm just gonna add my batter to my container, and then I'm gonna bake it for 25 to 30 minutes. After 25 minutes, you wanna check it with a clean knife or a clean toothpick or wooden pick. If it's clean, it's definitely done. If it's not clean, you wanna leave it in a little bit more, but I would say 25 to 30 minutes tops. So guys, this is what my cornbread is looking after it came out of the oven. Now, because this is honey buttered cornbread, go ahead and grab a toothpick and poke several holes into your cornbread because for the next step, we're going to be adding our glaze. So now you're going to melt a 1/4 cup of butter and 2 tablespoons of honey and mix it well and just pour that all over your cornbread. Look how delicious that looks. Let it soak in before you serve it, but definitely serve it warm. This is how my cornbread is looking. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll see you next week.